You think Uncle EJ will step in?
Oh, yes. He's just champing at the bit for all of us to be rescued.
Loyal brother, that is.
Okay, so now Tony and Kristen think that EJ's just because he wants control of the company. I guess that's possible.
No, it's not possible. I know it in my gut that it's not, okay? EJ has really been helping me through all of this custody stuff. And besides, did you forget he's our brother? He's not gonna kidnap his client the day before his trial.
In today's Days of Our Lives breakdown, Theo's kidnapping finally forces the Salem PD and FBI to take the DiMera disappearances seriously. Kat dives into the mansion's secrets. EJ becomes the center of suspicion, and the crypt crew uncovers a horrifying new mystery. Meanwhile, tensions rise across Salem as Susan, Rafe, Jada, Sarah, Brady, and many others get pulled deeper into the chaos. The authorities finally take the missing DiMera seriously after Theo is abducted, and Kat discovers something at the mansion. On today's episode of Days of Our Lives, Jada calls the Salem Police Department and FBI to investigate after Kat searches the mansion and Theo is abducted. After picking up from Friday, Kat starts looking through the living room after knocking EJ down cold. She eventually comes to the conclusion that the common area is the worst place to conceal secrets, so she descends into the tunnels. It seems impossible for anyone in that house to overlook the cot she finds in the wine room, yet it's okay. She wakes EJ up again and goes back upstairs after doing some mediocre photography. He immediately recovers, assuming he slept off, and then on to point out that his family is being targeted. Who took Theo hostage? Grandpa calls Theo to ask for assistance since Abe and Paulina are going crazy trying to care for a wailing baby named Trey. Theo then disconnects from the call. Right outside the pub, he's abducted. Abe returns to his domestic bliss with Paulina after assuming Theo couldn't hear him, becoming irate and hanging up. When Jada arrives at the pub, she and Gabby joyfully catch up. When Philip shows up, Jada wonders where Theo is. However, when JJ contacts Jada to inform her that Chad has been reported missing, he diverts everyone's attention. It's too late when she rushes outside to locate Theo. After seeing his phone on the floor, she informs Abe of the situation, and he quickly leaves the house. When he arrives at the police station, Jada informs him that while they have nothing at this time, she is already working with Rafe and the FBI. When he begs her to allow him to assist, Jada comes up with a number of theories, one of which is that Theo or someone Theo trusted caught him. This brings to mind Abe's request for EJ's assistance in rescuing Theo from DiMera. As the final DiMera standing, EJ either has additional information or will be the next. In any case, it's a lead. Gabby and Philip discuss what transpired with Theo inside. Chad, too. Tony, too. Poor Kristen, though, they've been sufficiently rattled to drop the trivia. Does EJ have a hand in this? It seems like too much work for Kristen, but Chad wants his siblings to get ready for their captor's return. While they are discussing their options, the door opens, a silencer-equipped gunshot is heard, and Theo is thrown in. Welcome to the celebration. Since he has already recovered from whatever knocked him out and is telling the others what occurred, things are moving more quickly. Chad believes that the perpetrator had been observing, waiting for the ideal opportunity to swipe. Before anyone else, Theo discovers the pattern. The children ought to be secure. Someone is after wealth and power. Stefano's heirs, or in Theo's case, the CEO of DiMera, were taken. That leaves EJ. In the last minutes of the show, when Chad stands up for EJ against the accusations of Tony and Kristen, she simply crushes Chad's goodwill. However, that might be beneficial, isn't it? Uncle EJ would never murder them, according to Theo. Would he? EJ is calm about the possibilities when Kat asks whether he's afraid he'll be the next. I've been there and done that. However, EJ tries to throw Kat out quickly after informing her what occurred as Abe texts to report Theo is missing. However, she persuades EJ that she is concerned about his safety to the point where he leans in to kiss her. Peter Blake's startling comeback and Xander's heartbreaking loss. according to the 2-week teasers for December 8th to 19th, 2025, on Days of Our Lives, Xander Cook is upset about Peter Blake's return. Theo Carver and Jada Hunter's date is cut short on Monday, December 8th, because Abe Carver is concerned and informs Paulina Price that something is wrong with Theo. I wonder whether he may be abducted. Abe hears a thump as his phone conversation with his son becomes tense, and it appears that the line is dropped. When Theo awakens in the crypt, Chad, Tony, and Kristen DiMera will be there to greet him and say, "Welcome to the crypt crew." E.J. DiMera is questioned by Kat Green. After giving him drugs, she appears to be going to ask him some questions while he is in a daze. Chad, Tony, and Kristen are organizing their getaway. They are fortunate that the Salem Police Department will be under pressure to launch a search party as a result of Chad and Theo's absence. Jada will want to find a new boyfriend. Therefore, it's a good thing she's dating Theo. Gabby Hernandez and Philip Kiriakis get increasingly worried. Since this is an unavoidable pattern, Theo going missing will increase concerns about Chad's location. Susan's suspicions grow as more discoveries are made. Rafe Hernandez was overheard by Javi Hernandez on Tuesday, December 9th. I wonder if it has to do with his inquiry into EJ or the fact that Theo has also vanished. Some bones are unearthed by the DiMera crypt team. They are human, according to Theo. Gwen Rizek rejects Leo Stark's proposal. Additionally, I wonder whether he will ask Gwen to attend his wedding. Susan Banks witnesses Kat and EJ about to share a kiss. Now, I do wonder if Susan enters while Kat is questioning EJ. Additionally, Kat pretends to be romantic in an effort to allay suspicions. I'm curious if Susan's psychic abilities will alert her to the fact that Kat is deceiving her infant son. Elvis Jr. Susan also sees Dr. Wilhelm Rolf slinking out of the DiMera mansion's hidden passageways, and she wants to know why he is there. Spoilers for Days, Alex's startling action, and the formation of new alliances. We're worried about Chanel Dupree on Wednesday, December 10th. Paulina is also attempting to comfort her. Given Theo's disappearance, Chanel and Paulina could be concerned that Johnny DiMera will become the next DiMera to disappear. Stephanie Johnson is taken by surprise by Alex Kiriakis. Because of Steve Johnson's research of the sender of this fan mail, Alex is extremely concerned for Stephanie's safety, and he might make an appearance in Chicago as part of the book tour. Naturally, they will attempt to place the responsibility on Jeremy Horton. Sarah Horton and Brady Black spend time expressing their sympathies. She feels terrible for Rachel Black, since part of what triggered her was learning about the kidnapping. Brady will provide an update because he is already envious. It goes without saying that Xander will be offended that he would be sharing a home with Sarah. Rachel is more strongly influenced by Sophia Choi. When it comes to Tate Black, the older girl can encourage Rachel to do bad things or assist her in plotting to get the child away from Johnny. Tate shares his predicament with Holly Jonas, and it might have to do with his poor grades. Or he might keep them a secret and merely worry about Rachel attending Bayview and, more importantly, her relationship with Sophia. 2-week spoilers for Days of Our Lives. Suspicions increase and sparks fly. On Thursday, December 11th, Johnny and Chanel are somewhat concerned about the additional safety measures being implemented. This could be related to EJ's disappearance this week as well. As a result, Johnny will be considered a possible victim by the Salem Police Department. Right now, there aren't many DiMeras still at large in Salem. They are simply being grabbed one by one. Someone is attempting to catch them all while playing Pokemon. Although Sarah's heart still belongs to Xander, Brady and Sarah's spark will soon share some kisses. However, Brady will develop an attachment to Sarah and become rather obsessed with her. I believe that's partly due to the fact that the rest of his life is disintegrating. Together, Rafe and Jada search for solutions. I believe that the FBI and the local Salem Police Department will be collaborating to search for the DiMera. I hope the crypt team gets located quickly. DOOL spoilers. The defense is Gabby. Gabby gives Javi a hard time. She also needs to protect herself. I wonder if he's concerned about her and Philip, or if Ari's unwillingness to welcome Leo into the family is the cause, although Javi could hold Gabby responsible for Ari's dislike of him. The truth is that she was aware of what Leo had done to Sonny Kiriakis, and Will Horton, that report wasn't entirely Gabby's. Many folks in the Salem area are aware of such fact, and Gabby has nothing to do with Leo becoming a villain. Xander is also depending on Teresa Donovan. She's also upset, so she might lean back a little. Xander talks candidly with Sarah about his thoughts and signing the divorce papers. I wonder if he would vent about Brady, who is obviously upset with Teresa as well. DOOL weekly spoilers, upcoming initiatives, serious alerts, and startling charges. We have Alex and Stephanie making plans for their future on Friday, December 12th. We are aware that Alex will soon pop the question to Stephanie. Chad shares his worries with Theo. Since he is aware that he skipped the hearing, it is clear that he is concerned about losing custody of his children. Chad most likely believes that Jennifer Horton made the most of his unwelcome absence. Surprisingly, though, she didn't. I thought she would. Rafe issues a caution to Kat, who he believes is playing fast and loose and taking too many chances, or who he believes is becoming too close to EJ in the inquiry. When EJ informs Gwen that he will care for Leo on his own if she is unable to, it irritates her. Leo should have some time because EJ goes shortly as well. On Days of Our Lives, Jeremy is furious. Jeremy is unhappy with Maggie Horton Kiriakis because Alex might mention to Holly that Jeremy is his top suspect. Maggie might question Jeremy or accuse him of sending Stephanie that stalker email. She might also tell Maggie about this. On Days of Our Lives, Jeremy lashes out at Maggie for assuming the worst about him. So we'll see. Days of Our Lives. A biological threat arrives in Salem and Peter Blake returns. The crypt crew will be located by Rafe and Jada over the week of December 15th to 19th. Although Kat might help, she is unable to claim any credit as it would violate her ISA coverage. After Rafe sends off those crypt bones, a positive ID is returned. Sophia and Rachel are conspiring, and it's possible that Sophia is deceiving the younger girl into assisting her in causing trouble. Gwen and Paulina will be utterly astonished when EJ shows them the test 2-person in the near future. Soon after, Alex opens a letter that is meant for him. A powdery substance flies out of it, causing everyone to fear, because they believe it could be a biological weapon. Since we know that Owen Kent, not Jeremy, is the murderer, his relationship with the DiMera may give him access to anthrax or other dangerous substances. Alternatively, it can just be flour or powdered sugar meant to frighten the living daylights out of them. However, given that he previously attempted to murder Alex at the Pumpkin Chunkin', I would assume that it could be a severe matter. Naturally, everyone will initially point the finger at Jeremy, and he is growing increasingly irritated with this. Peter Blake will return to the canvas on Friday, the 19th. According to our leaker, he is the one who abducted the other DiMera. We'll find out more about his plans. Then, Susan's double shocker. Human bones found by DiMera hostages. According to spoilers for Tuesday, December 9's episode of Days of Our Lives, Susan Banks will experience 2 shocks as the DiMera hostages find human remains. Here's what DOOL fans can anticipate from the crazy events that will take place on the DiMera property. To begin with, Susan will be shocked to discover Kat Green and EJ DiMera in a precarious position. Susan will undoubtedly ask some questions concerning the relationship between EJ and Kat after she interrupts. According to teasers for days, Susan will also be shocked when she spots Dr. Wilhelm Rolf emerging from the DiMera tunnels. Dr. Rolfe will be questioned, although he might be evasive about his true intentions. Gwen von Leuschner will respond to a proposal from Leo Stark. On Tuesday's DOL episode, Gwen will try her best to silence Leo when he makes a pitch that she doesn't agree with. According to teasers for other days, Javi Hernandez will overhear an unsettling discussion. Javi might be concerned that Johnny DiMera might be in danger, as Rafe Hernandez will likely be on the phone talking about all the DiMera kidnappings. Naturally, that might also endanger Trey DiMera, so Javi will have valid concerns. Javi will still be on edge even if Rafe reassures him that Johnny and his family are being protected. According to today's teasers, Tony DiMera, Kristen DiMera, Chad DiMera, and Theo Carver will discover something concerning in the crypt. The four of them will discuss who died and was secretly hidden in the crypt because there will be some unidentifiable human bones. Tony, Kristen, Chad, and Theo will all speculate, but without appropriate laboratory testing, they won't be able to determine anything with certainty. According to spoilers on Days of Our Lives, those bones will begin a new mystery. Rafe spills too much, Brady and Sarah give up, and emergency protection. There will be emergency protection in the event of a crisis, according to the Days of Our Lives spoilers for the week of December 8th to 12th. While Rafe Hernandez spills too much, Brady Black and Sarah Horton will also give up. So let's talk about what DOL has planned. Days spoilers indicate that when Theo Carver is abducted, he will join the others in the tomb to receive updates on their current knowledge. Eventually, Theo, Kristen, Tony, and Chad DiMera will think about some enigmatic bones that also appear in the crypt. EJ DiMera's inhibitions might be lessened when he wakes up and confronts Kat Green's interrogation sessions because she recently gave him drugs. This could lead to a more truthful version of EJ for Kat. Susan Banks will spy on EJ and Kat together, putting them in a precarious situation. When Dr. Wilhelm Rolfe also shows up to the DiMera mansion, look for Susan to question him. Meanwhile, Javi Hernandez will listen in and discover more than Rafe anticipated. When Javi overhears too much, Rafe may be on the phone talking about protecting Johnny DiMera and his family. Javi might get worried about Trey DiMera and whether he poses a threat as a result. Chanel Dupree DiMera will be furious because someone is pursuing DiMeras. For their own good, Chanel and Johnny might have to put up with some obnoxious agents or even EJ's security guards. Gwen von Leuschner will then argue with Leo Stark and stop him from making a pitch. But since EJ intends to pursue Leo later, Gwen won't appreciate his notion either. Since they will both be interested in unraveling this DiMera mystery, he will team up with Jada after he returns to Rafe. Later, Rafe will warn Kat that she's in trouble and raise the alarm. Kat may be closer to all of the DiMera danger the closer she gets to EJ. Since EJ will eventually be kidnapped and thrown into the DiMera mausoleum, he won't be exempt from the drama surrounding the kidnapping. Sarah will offer Brady some solace as he deals with Rachel Black's stay at Bayview. Flying sparks will result from Brady and Sarah supporting one another as she navigates her divorce from Xander Kyriakis. If nothing else, Sarah and Brady ought to give in to the possibility of sharing a kiss in front of Xander. According to previews for Days, Xander will need Marlena Evans' assistance during a therapy session, but his anger management problems will still exist. Speaking about anger management, Jeremy Horton will undoubtedly become agitated when he believes Maggie Kyriakis is making accusations. Jeremy might maintain that he is not Stephanie Johnson's stalker and deny any involvement with her disturbing fan mail. According to spoilers for Days, the author of those eerie letters might actually be Owen Kent, Stephanie's former kidnapper. Lastly, as Sophia Choi will play tricks on Rachel and take her down yet another perverse path, we should discuss her mind games. According to previews for Days of Our Lives, Rachel's faith in Sophia will lead to more issues. Is Gabby responsible for kidnappings in DiMera? Does another Stefano child assist her? Gabby relived the moment when Tony deceived her by declining to appoint her CEO of DiMera Enterprises during the December 8th episode of Days of Our Lives, which led us to question, who is responsible for his abduction and that of his siblings? Gabby will never forget or forgive. As part of her role, Gabby planted the bug that captured Xander and Philip discussing their deception. She fulfilled all of Tony's requests. Gabby anticipated receiving a reward. However, Tony betrayed her by appointing Theo as CEO, and to make matters worse, Theo claimed that Gabby's complaint was due to his autism, and not because he was inexperienced in business management. It must have been intimate. That didn't sit well with Gabby either. The last time Gabby saw Theo, the last person to see Theo before he vanished was Gabby, Jada emphasized, implying that he ran off with someone he knew, someone he trusted. However, Jada is unaware that Gabby was vying for Theo's position as CEO. Gabby has no reason to be angry with Theo, as far as Jada is aware. This implies that she won't go down that path too strongly. DiMera and Gabby's strained relationship. In addition, Kristen confronted Gabby and her most recent absent ex-husband, Stefan, after Chad damaged Gabby's heart. It makes sense that Gabby would not hesitate to abduct them all and hide them in the family crypt. However, Gabby cannot do this task by herself, particularly if she wishes to avoid contaminating her hands. Gabby must have had assistance, and we're betting on Peter Blake's impending comeback. Their intentions would coincide, and so would their grudges. The DiMera uncover something startling. Furthermore, Rafe may have made a mistake. It's going to get difficult with Susan Banks. Meanwhile, a surprise awaits the missing DiMera. Furthermore, did Rafe Hernandez just commit a grave error? What you should know is as follows. Spoilers for Tuesday, December 9's episode of Days of Our Lives. Whoops. First, a potentially awkward moment is revealed by Days of Our Lives spoilers. Susan appears to have nabbed E.J. DiMera and Kat Green. We anticipate that Susan will walk in on a kiss during this embarrassing moment. After all, we did witness the beginning of that in a promo. Susan will undoubtedly have a lot to say about this, too. Well, perhaps. She's been acting strangely recently. At that point, it's clear that Kat is attempting to lower EJ's defenses so she can learn the truth about his activities. And because of it, Susan might notice something strange about the two of them. See if Kat's cover is in jeopardy. Unexpected turn of events. In other news, the DiMera are taken aback by what they find in the crypt. This is where they will locate the bone that will later be examined and identified, according to a recent commercial. When we found out that Kristen's mother had recently been questioned and was still alive, our suspicion that it would be her mother was disproved. There are a lot of potential identities for the bone, in our opinion. In the same way, there are a lot of potential suspects for the dead body. Therefore, we're eager to watch how everything turns out. We might not have to wait too long to find out if the pace continues. Spoilers for Tuesday, December 9th's episode of Days of Our Lives. Poor timing? According to spoilers on Days of Our Lives, it may have finally occurred. Rafe and Kat are becoming careless in their dealings, as we have been stating for some time. They don't always meet in secret, and they don't always use the code names. Javi Hernandez will undoubtedly hear something that Rafe would rather he didn't. We suppose that Javi overhears Rafe discussing their investigation with Kat because they now have 2 more missing DiMera to handle, and Kat has found proof of someone sleeping in the not-so-secret room. We anticipate that he will at least hear Kat's name. Reflecting on her legendary days run, Deidre Hall shares the scene that still chills her. Deidre Hall explores the humorous, traumatic, and vivid memories that influenced her depiction of Marlena Evans. On Days of Our Lives, Marlena has been handling a lot lately because she withheld the truth about Rachel, who is currently having difficulties in Bayview. Her relationship with Brady is strained. But her hospital room has been constantly visited by worried friends who bring coloring books and passionate confessions, which has made her feel better. This month, Deidre Hall took a moment to consider the character who has influenced entire chapters for decades, despite the emotional turmoil that surrounds her. In the process, she remembered a moment from her time in Salem that still echoes in her heart. Marlena's forgetting her identity. When Hall talked about raising her children on the soundstage of the show, you could feel the warmth in her conversation with people. As she considered her 50 years as Marlena, she observed that being a part of the show is a community rather than just a family. She even recalled her first day, when she introduced herself as someone else because she completely forgot which part she was meant to play. She recalled how Day's icon McDonald Carey stated, "I'd like you to meet Dr. Evans," as he presented her to Mary Fran, who was portraying Amanda Howard. Then Hall described her worst gaffe. "The scenario stopped when I responded, 'Oh no, please call me Amanda.' Carey jokingly corrected her, saying, 'Darling, she's Amanda. You're Marlena.' Hall, who is still a little embarrassed by this, said that knowing which character you play is a fantastic life lesson. The death that continues to influence Marlena's story. The conversation naturally turned to John. Hall freely said that she still feels his absence on stage, referring to both the role and the actor behind him. She has already expressed that she is aware that Hodgson and John are no longer with her. She still feels the weight of that loss. Seeing John on the pier, referred to as the famous pier scene, where he thinks I'm dead and I come out of the fog, she described the moment John saw Marlena. The audience's yelling was audible. That is a popular choice. Hall didn't avoid the topic of Marlena falling in love once more. Despite Marlena's lengthy romantic past, she stated that it is way too soon for her character to move on, saying, "I would defer to Ken Corday and our writers." Many longtime fans have had their own losses, Hall noted, and she wants that aspect of Marlena's journey to be handled with consideration. "We have a lot of widows out there that are trying to navigate that for people who have watched the show for a very long time," she said. She added that she hopes people will continue to witness the development of the relationship between Marlena and Julie, another widow. Spoilers for Tuesday, December 9's episode of Days of Our Lives. Every DiMera is in danger. Who is Susan going to save? Tuesday, December 9th spoilers for Days of Our Lives reveal more than Tony, Kristen, and Chad ever wanted to know. They also reveal Susan's son's schemes. Next on Days, Tony, Kristen, and Chad are adamant about getting out of their confinement, and that entails exploring areas they may not have previously explored. It's a crypt. What do they anticipate discovering? And what do you suppose they discover? Legal age. As an adult, EJ came back to Salem, where he was born. In reality, we never saw him mature, since it took place off-screen, and within a few years. However, he is an adult. Heck, because of Johnny and Chanel, he is now a grandfather. But to Susan, Elvis is her baby son. She doesn't mind that he has female company. However, the sight of him with Kat still surprises her a little. Susan communicates with the universe on a regular basis. What do her spirit pals have to say about Kat's plans for EJ? Will her son listen if she informs him? Past friends. Leo is growing weary of Gwen accusing him of having an affair with her husband. Years have passed since then. Gone. Now Leo is a different man. He adores Javi. Javi is also a decent man. This implies that Leo's crimes have all been forgiven. Isn't that how it operates? Leo is now wise in addition to being a wonderful man. This implies that he has suggestions for his Gwenny. She is unwilling to hear it. Has Leo ever stopped yapping because of it before? Is Maggie abducting DiMera in order to get Xander to fall? Spoilers for Days of Our Lives. Enjoy delving into the various facets of the DiMera collecting plot. We've considered the possibility that Vivian Alamain is responsible, but what if someone closer to home is involved? someone who has a charming appearance. Maggie Horton is our next potential suspect. And while it seems strange, it makes sense. Maggie hasn't been afraid to initiate arguments with Alex Kyriakis during the past few years. To gain what she wanted from Alex, she used a misogynistic tactic. Even though she started it, disregarded Stephanie Johnson's claims and dismissed her as public relations because she dared to confront her and stand up for Alex. Maggie now has a chance because Sarah Horton is constantly looking for reasons to despise Xander Kyriakis. She dislikes Xander's leadership of Titan and attempted to have him imprisoned for assaulting his brother. Her plot was thwarted by Philip Kyriakis' denial that it had occurred. Is Maggie planning something else, though? Using Xander's history. One of the first to acknowledge Xander's dubious and violent past is Days of Our Lives spoilers. Since then, he has advanced significantly. He is no longer the man who abducted Susan Banks and Bonnie Lockhart or forced Victor Kyriakis into the baby swap. However, we believe Maggie might be using the latter against him. Maggie might have the DiMera taken in order to frame him because he has a history of being abducted, even if it was against his choice. She recently admitted to Kate Roberts that she isn't brutal enough, particularly when it comes to her staff. We don't think that applies to Xander. She will undoubtedly be just as ruthless as Victor was to get rid of him. She is wealthy. How Maggie can afford it is the only issue with this concept. She could have held back a little, but she had everything locked up in Titan. She believes that only she can manage the business. Thus, this might be her strategy to keep it afloat. Therefore, we believe that Maggie bribed someone to abduct DiMera's former CEO, and that Xander is to blame. He will seek retribution for DiMera's loss to Tony DiMera. Xander will be her sacrifice if she wants to weaken DiMera in order to reclaim it. Everything comes together in a slick, malevolent manner that is reminiscent of the past. Would Maggie, however, run the danger of the truth being revealed and further harming Titan? Please share your thoughts in the comments section below if you believe Maggie was involved in the DiMera kidnappings. Was the DiMera family abducted by Peter Blake? Next up are Theo and EJ. Imply that the DiMera family may have been abducted by Peter Blake. In the DOOL winter preview, Kristen is speaking with Peter. The guy Kristen DiMera is speaking to in the hospital is Peter Blake, as astute fans may have deduced from DOOL's recent winter peak. In the teaser, Kristen is shown inconsolable, apologizing to someone while that person yells, "Leave, we believe it must be Peter, Kristen's brother, who captured the DiMeras and threw them into the crypt," has piqued the interest of many fans. EJ, DiMera, and Theo Carver will join the other hostages next. Since EJ has been working on his dubious project with Dr. Wilhelm Rolf to bring whoever it is back to life, the majority of viewers assume that he is the one who abducted his family members. Chad DiMera was abducted last week and was unable to attend Thomas DiMera's custody hearing. The fact that he had missed something so significant made him unhappy. Stefano DiMera is a DiMera, since we know that he adopted both Peter and Kristen. Peter might be upset by the disappearance of his mother, Rachel Blake. The bones that the DiMera family members find most likely belong to Rachel Blake, often known as the Woman in White. He might have made the decision to get even with the DiMeras. Or perhaps he has reverted to his jungle madness, which, as seasoned DOL fans may remember, drove him absolutely crazy. Longtime admirers would recall that he wasn't exactly a kind guy, in addition to the fact that he caught jungle madness. Spoilers for Days of Our Lives. A trustworthy soap leak says Sarah is also abducted. Peter was a heroin dealer who had an unexplained obsession with Jennifer Horton DeVoe. At one point, Sarah Horton Kyriakis assisted Jack Devereaux in his investigation into Peter. According to a reliable soap leaker, Sarah will also be abducted. We don't know if it's true. We can make assumptions about Peter's possible motivation for abducting the DiMeras. However, Peter's decision to abduct Sarah seems illogical. Additionally, EJ intends to bring back the person we think is Lexi Carver. One of the most adored people in Salem was Lexi. Plus, Abe Carver was her spouse. In addition, Lexi is Theo's biological mother. At first, we were concerned that they could attempt to bring Stefano back to life. However, given Joe Mascalo's passing, it's unlikely the show would want to go there. However, the soap opera has reintroduced Stefano to the minds of other characters. Stefano, for instance, was in Steve Johnson's body in 2019. A microchip that contains Stefano's essence had been put into Steve by Dr. Rolfe, giving him the personality Stefano, who terrorized Salem until the microchip was taken out. The plot didn't particularly appeal to viewers, but as we all know, DOL adores science fiction. In any case, we know that EJ is also being abducted this week. Therefore, he cannot be the one stealing the DiMera. Given his clear animosity toward Kristen and the DiMera family, we believe Peter Blake to be the guilty party.